through. Oh, thank you. I had forgotten about that. Absolutely. I had forgotten about recording. So you're gonna be receiving the certificates maybe 2 weeks from now. So once again, I'd like to welcome Gilma and Márcia. And besides being great friends, I've known them for quite a while. I've known Gilma for kind of 15 years. And I could see some great friends here as well. But before we actually start, I tried to really, summarize their CVs because if you just mention everything they've done and who they are, we would spend at least half of the session just talking about them. So Gilma Correa is postgraduated in human resources and strategic management with international certification in recognized programs and tools in talent and potential management. Results and focus mainly in recruitment, selection, and retention, as well as business-oriented training and development programs, both in America and Europe. Executive career and coach, and currently a director at K&G, which, by the way, both of them will be talking about it in a minute. About Márcia, Márcia is also a postgraduate in business management, holding educational background certifications with international interchange programs in the UK. Major achievements and results in the bilingual training and continuous development programs, as well as in the management and leadership in the talent development arena. They are both the directors at K&G, and they're going to be talking to you more about it. This is going to be an interactive session. So they're going to be explaining what it's going to be like. But so that you know, at the end, we're going to have our 30-minute Q&A sessions as well. But as they've split the workshop, the webinar, into 3 parts or 4 parts, they're going to be asking you some answers, and you can post them on the chat. Besides their answers, if you have questions, you can just raise your virtual hands here on Zoom, or post your question on the chat, and I'll be very happy to read it to them both. So, Gilma and Márcia, once again, thank you very much for accepting my invitation. And without much further ado, let's start talking about the rain dance in the corporate world, beauty national brand.
Thank you, Daniel.
Awesome.
No, thank you so much for the introduction, and we are ready to start. And the first thing is we are going to start telling you a little bit or describing a little bit about the rain dance and its components, its elements. Any guesses before we start?
You can either mute or you can just post your...
Yeah. And just to add, good morning, afternoon, and evening. This is the first time I ever say that in a conversation. This is amazing. And we are so glad to be here with you for this conversation. You know, the workshop webinar titles kind of scare us. The idea is really to share with you a little bit of our experience. When Daniel starts 15 years ago, and then some years ago, then you start adding up, you're going to end up finding that we have got around 40 years experience, which is bad, right? So let's forget it. Bad or good? Anyway, so to Márcia's question, some people wrote to us about rain dance. Do you know anything about rain dance? Have you ever heard of it? No? No?
I don't think they have a clue. Neither do I. Oh, Daniel is saying that it can be a dance that can cause rain. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. you know, in Brazil, the native Brazilians were the indigenous people, right? We call them Índios, right? We have a different word in Portuguese. Índios for people who are the Indians, the native Brazilians, or like Native Americans. And you have Indianos, the people from India, right? So in Portuguese, we have the different words. In English, we found Indians. So yes, it's a dance to make rain, right? That these people, these tribes used, and some still do, because there are tribes all over, to make the rain. Now, one thing is, people say, well, what is it composed of? If anybody knows about it, it's a very careful process, by the way, okay? It has a process. It has the dressing. It has the steps. You have it's a whole program that they go through, they plan, they go through to make rain. Now, and I ask you a question for those of you who may know it or not. Does it rain in the end? Do you know? You don't know?
Sherry.
Yes,
I
Ina.
believe it does. Mhm.
It does. Amazing, isn't it? They go through all that planning. They know what they want. They need rain. That's what they want. So they go through all the planning. Don't you think they just wake up in the morning and say, hey, hey, rain, come? No. There is a process. They put it in place and it rains. And you know why? They never stop
Until it
until
rains.
the rain comes. They never stop until it rains, until the objective is reached. So no matter what you think, is it religion, is it, they never stop until the rain comes down, right? So that's why we related to the corporate world. And from what Daniel told us about the majority of the people who belong to the 500 MBA Club, and Rahul, I remember 2 Sundays ago, said that that's the objective here, right? That talking about things that maybe are not in school, right? The subjects, let's say. So that's what we wanted to bring to you as headhunters. That's what we do at the moment. And most people here want to know, how do I get into the corporate world? How do I do what I want to do? And we related to this rain dance. You need to plan. You need to know, first of all, what your rain is, right?
Yeah. There
What
are
is it?
common elements, right?
Yes, you have to know what rain you want, right? What is it, the objective you want professionally? What do you want to achieve? And then prepare your dance. And that's what we are going to talk about here, how to, we name it the personal, professional branding, right? To help you get the objectives you want, right? I believe everybody here is, at least has an idea, right, of what they want, the rain they want, right? And then you say, so okay, I wake up in the morning and said, I want to do this. This is my objective. This is what I'm going to do. Yes, but you know what? It's a moving target. I don't know if any of you have been through this. Sometimes you want something. I'm in my 3rd objective in my career. I had actually 4th, 40 years, right? Every 10 years, right? 40 years of experience. Things change. The targets move, right? Why do they move? Why does your rain have to move? Because you change, right? I can see a face here, Elsa, close to me, which is a good example. I can see many faces here. Isa, Andrea, the people I know, I don't know the Indians yet, but the movement, the objective may change, and that's not bad. Some people panic and say, oh my God, I had prepared to it. It's a moving target. Everybody has heard about I don't know if you pronounce VUCA world, right? The concept of the
I'd like,
outside.
okay, I'd like to add something. Not only the moving target changes, is always changing. We change, the world changes, our objective changes, and the market changes. So
The
we
market
have
changes.
to manage and deal with all those changes around us. And that's why the target is always moving, and we have to move to keep on. Now,
Yeah,
you
the world, the
just
concept
said,
of VUCA world, that the world, the corporate world is volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, it's ambiguous. These concepts are very clear, right? The world, the corporate world is like that. So because you are inserted in that, you may change. You may change because you changed, right? I'll give you, by the way, sometimes we're going to give examples, and I promise to you, they're all real examples, right? Real ones. We're not going to say names, but they're real ones. This is important. So there was this person who is 35 by now, 36, whose objective was, I want to be a doctor, a physician. And I don't know about the whole world, but in Brazil, to be a physician, it costs a lot of money and takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, right? It's 6 years of study, etc. So this guy, I remember because he was a neighbor, had to involve the whole family to help him. He studied like hard. When he was in the third year of all this, he said, you know what? I don't want that. I don't want this to my world. I don't want to be a doctor. Parents like, oh, what? And you know what he wanted? He said, what do you want? That's why I met him. He said, I want to be an HR professional. And that's how I met him, as an intern. In the company, I was responsible for HR. And he did he was brilliant. He studied, he made all his efforts. He was a year ago, Márcia and I were hunting for an HR professional, and I immediately thought of him. You know, he speaks 4 languages, he has all the knowledge, and I remember, and we reached out to him and said, you know what? I'm studying to be a diplomat.
I don't
I'm
want
not
it
going to
anymore.
accept. I'm doing a great job. I'm finishing in December. I have already told the company so the world changes, he changed, and scary as it may seem, and many of you must have read that, people tell us that I don't know how many hundreds of jobs will be existing in the next future that we don't have a clue of. So there will be jobs that we don't even know about it now. So people will know about these jobs. They may want to go to that job, and so this is what we have to realize, that we know our dance, it's a moving target. We may change, and that's okay, as long as you prepare for that, right? Um, and then when we're preparing for our dance, right, the Indians have all the process, we have to have our own process individually, right? What is it I want to achieve? And then we divided this personal branding, that's what we call our rain dance, right? The preparation for the rain dance into 3 pillars, right? And that's what we're going to talk about. The 3 pillars we should be watching, we should be taking care of, because you know what? Unfortunately or fortunately, nobody can do that for you.
Yeah. And for
You
the
may
first,
even have a
yeah.
coach, you may read a lot. It's you, it's your reign, it's your job. You will have to take care of these 3 pillars. Sorry, Márcia.
No, I was going to say, for the first pillar, we need Daniel to show a picture. You're gonna say,
Yeah,
as long as you say the first pillar.
I don't. Daniel, can you project that?
Project the picture.
which may, no,
Can you see the
that's
picture?
not. No,
I
Sorry.
sent to you through
never
your
mind.
cell phone.
No, I know. Just a minute. You might see the
Yeah,
picture.
this is it.
Now, this is revealing, isn't it? Actually, the picture there was Mark Zuckerman, right? We didn't want to show his face because, you know, but that's Zuckerman. We are hiring. No need to send your resume. We already got all your information. Thanks, Daniel. So what does that mean? We have to be aware of, right? That's the first pillar. Online, your online presence, right? And then anybody here who say, no, I'm not present online at all. Can anybody raise your hand if you say, I'm not online at all? Well, first of all, if you're here,
You
it's
should be.
because
You are.
you are, right? You have a presence online. So you have to take care of it because that's your public, it's your public image of you. It's the public expression of you. Whether you like it or not, if you're online, if you have a presence online, you are present and people will be looking at you. The employers, the companies, the recruiters that you want to reach will have access to that you, to that image of you, to your presence, right? And we have to take care of it. We need to project, I would say, Karina is gonna be looking at my presence online and she's gonna have the perception of me. She doesn't know me, we never talked, I never did tests to her, but the moment she goes online and she sees me, she's gonna build a perception of me, right? And this is something that we need to be aware of. We want what image we want people to see of us, what perception. And people say no, because this is discriminatory, because if you are online, you're being seen. And if you're being seen, exposed, be careful, not be careful, but be aware to project the image you want, your public image you want to be seen, right? When we talk about that, what's the first thing that comes to your mind in terms of the media where we are? One of the tools that we use so much and we are present. All of us here are present.
The first one?
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yes.
Right?
LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the so-called professional, so-called, right? Because if you go there, it's not always like that, but it's the so-called professional network, right? So make sure your presence there, you are seeing what you want to be seen, right? What is it you want to be careful? Make sure everything is accurate. Make sure everything is updated, you know? Make sure, I'm gonna talk about a very sensitive topic that my partner here said you should not, but I will.
I told her.
Your photograph. And this has nothing to do with, oh my God, is my hair okay? Do I look old? Am I fat? Has nothing to do with this. It has to do with, and again, an example. We were searching for someone. We found a profile in LinkedIn that we thought was very good fit. And you know what? This person was blowing a kiss in the picture. Now, and you can say, oh, Gilma, come on, you're discriminating. She's a sweet person. She's so kind. And she wants to show the world how kind she is. blowing a kiss. Okay, honestly, I don't like labels, and we can say, yes, let's talk to her, but I know that the employer, the recruiter from the company, may look at it and say, may read it in a different way, right? And it said open to work, right? And a kiss. So we have to be careful about that. And it's your credibility. You want people to trust you, right? Without knowing you. Isn't that crazy? Without knowing you.
And keeping in mind that we are sending messages, hidden messages.
Yeah.
We are sending messages all the time.
Yeah. If summary, professional summary, and then you see 2 lines and then check for more, and then you open, there are 45 lines. It says professional summary. What does it talk about you? Maybe just because the person is so good and so great and they really want to show that in the professional summary. But some people may read it, not really very focused, right? Because it says professional summary and the person wrote 45 lines. So be aware, it's the perception of you. Be aware, you show what you want your employers, the corporate world, want to see of you, right? Then there is the Instagram, Facebook. Oh my God, there are so many. Twitter, you name it.
Yeah, but they are not
Gilma.
professional.
Yeah. No, let's not talk about that's nothing to do with professional. This is me. So if I go on the beach with my new bikini, I post on Instagram because I'm happy to show my new bikini and I'm happy to show I'm in Cancun and all that. It's a personal thing. Nobody has anything to do with it. I'm sorry, it has. The moment you are there, you cannot say, Karina, please don't look at that person's Instagram because that's personal. Just look at the LinkedIn, right? You're not gonna tell Akash, what are you looking at the Facebook for when you're recruiting this person, for God's sake? This is personal. It's media. You are there. You want to share your beautiful photos in Cancun, and I guess you should. Limit your group, right? Friends only. Limit the access because people may look, employers may. Remember the world outside we cannot control, but we can control our image, right? I cannot control what an employer wants. Or otherwise you say, employers of the world, don't touch my Instagram. Recruiters of the world, Facebook is personal, don't ever come in here. We cannot do that, right? We cannot, as Simon Sinek says very well, we cannot control that. You cannot control these rules. Are they right? I don't think so. I don't think people should be watching Facebook or Instagram or whatever, but they do. It's public. It's your public image. And it may, I'm not saying it will, it may be something that will speak against you, right? The other one that comes, so we talk about the LinkedIn, about your image, what you want to convey. And there's someone here in this group that sometimes asks me, do you think I can post this in my Instagram? And I say, if I were you, I would not, because this is natural, right? This is not discrimination. It's there, right? I have a lot of examples like you're talking
about.
Yeah, because she's a recruiter and no labels. We are totally against any kind of discrimination. But if you're there, and you can be seen. You cannot forbid people to see it. And then we go to the last one, maybe we had to summarize, is your CV, your resume, right? That's you on paper. It's you on paper. Do I have to be careful about it? Yes. And by the way, Daniel, to our despair, very kindly sent us half an hour before the presentation the list of questions that came up in the 500 MBA Club, and he said, oh! So some of them we could integrate, some of them not really. It would be another session, right? And a lot of people asking about CVs. CV is your resume, is you on paper. And, oh, come on, they should call me to know me. Yes, but the thing is, they got 655 CVs, right? He's a recruiter, and she tells me that. My God, there were 220. How do I, capture the attention of the recruiter, right? By saying and sending a nice picture, blowing a kiss. There are people who put the picture. No, right? A CV, and again, we are not telling lies. These are examples. Be careful about your CV. It's you on paper. It must be clean, direct, right? Professional, objective, 12 lines. Listen, I'm a recruiter. I have lots of them. I said, what is the objective? What do I want? I want to know if that person has the objective that I want, so I can pay attention to that CV, right? The first rule about CV is adapt to where you are applying. So, okay, this person wants to go into the finance management role. Great. A little summary. Remember the CV, a little summary of what you bring to the table. 45 lines. We got one of 2 pages. Professional summary, 2 pages. What does it talk? What does it tell me? I said, my goodness, this person does not focus, did not read summary, 2 pages of summary. Nobody's going to read it, right? So what you bring to that position, and then you got the story, where you went, or where you worked, 3 bullets of your major achievement, etc. So be careful, no mistakes. Oh, I was in a hurry, you know what? So I missed all the letters. Reread. Be careful. It's you, it's your online presence, right? And then there's your presence, because that's an interview and all that's another topic. So this is the first pillar of your brand, is how you present yourself. Any questions so far?
Should it be online or not? Maybe.
Yeah. Any questions so far?
If you have questions, make sure you just put it on the chat or raise your virtual hand.
Yeah. In the end, right? So first pillar, no questions. So first pillar, your online presence. Rush to your LinkedIn, make sure you're presenting the vision, the image you want to present. Now, the other one, and the pillars, there are 3 pillars, right? This is your own online presence, and then comes the skills. The technical skills is one pillar, and the behavioral skills, another pillar. They're all important, right? So let's go to the technical skills. What does that mean? Technical skills.
Suggestion, make sure you write them on the chat or open your mic.
Yeah. The things that you learn at school, as Rahul said 2 Sundays ago, right? The skills that are not human-based, let's say.
That's
yes.
right.
Like, great, using Excel,
Machinery,
using
IT.
the hard skills, exactly.
Yeah, that's
right?
it now.
The
Gilma,
tools. Huh?
I think Shrey has a question.
Yeah.
Or Shrey, feel free to do it.
So I didn't have a question. I just had to answer this. It's fine. It was just for this answer. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. So exactly, the hard skills. So the technical skills are what we learn, the so-called qualifications, right? That you take the courses. Somebody mentioned Excel. I remember some years ago when I said, oh my God, I don't know Excel. So I have to rush and learn Excel. Guess what? Now that I know Excel, they have Power BI.
Gilma,
Oh,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we have a question about the first pillar by which says, how can you erase negative things from your digital footprint?
go there and update and make sure it's okay. That's what I would say. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say there's anybody nothing negative, but I think it should be a good question. You should always be taking care of it, looking at it. You know, it's
Change the picture, update your CV, your data, your information, if you think it's to be done.
yeah. I found 3 years ago, I was looking at my LinkedIn, I found lots of mistakes. You know, I must have. So whatever negative thing, go there and
You
put it
consider,
positive,
yeah,
make it
yeah,
positive,
if you
right?
consider it's negative.
So the technical skills are the things that the programs, the courses, the tools, the languages that you develop and you study, right? And when I talk language, it's not only English or Spanish. I talk about the digital language, making sure that you can, the tools, as you gave very good examples here, the tools that are needed for you to perform any job and tools that are needed to perform your specific jobs, right? And mind you, you have an excellent presence. You are tops on your online presence. If you don't have the technical skills, you know, you may even be invited, but people will see that it's, you know, it doesn't fit. So for you to fit an engineering job, let's say, you have to have the basics of engineering, right? So this is, I have a question, how to get referral on LinkedIn, how to approach people on LinkedIn. Okay, can we jump that to the end, if you don't mind? That was a very good question,
Sure.
right? And by the way, later we want make sure we send our thanks, Camila. We send our emails, right? Because there's one thing we don't want is to leave this with questions that we did not answer, either because we don't know or because we don't have time. So we want to get back to you later. So the technical skills are the skills, the qualifications you have. And then somebody says, that's easy. I go to a program, I take a PhD is a lot, but let's say I take a master's and I learn all about Excel and Power BI. Wow, I am ready with my technical skills. Bad news is, remember, the market moves, the world moves, your technical skills may not, they are not, how do we say, exactly. It's obsolete. It can become obsolete. Isn't that crazy? So we must be aware that updating it, making sure that we are updated in these technical skills that we need, right? It's an ever, somebody once asked me, when does it stop? Never. And at the pace that the world is going, you have to be aware. Good news is so much online, right? There is not necessarily a lot. I know there's a lot of money that sometimes we need to invest, but there's a lot of things that we can do online for free, and then that can be developed. This is the good news, right? The thing is that the courses don't teach you. It's you who learn. So you have to have this drive to an awareness that you need to have your technical skills.
Yeah, somebody
updated.
wrote here, keep moving and improving, no stoppage. That's
No
it.
stoppage. No stoppage, right?
That's it. Mhm.
And then you say, oh my God, Gilma, oof, on a Sunday, I hear that. Number one, I have to take care of my online presence. oh my God, I have to make sure that my technical skills in this moving world, they are updated. What else do I have to do to make my rain? If the rain is something you like, you're going to enjoy doing it all. There is the third pillar.
Ina, that's right,
Right?
Ina.
Huh?
Ina already wrote soft skills.
Yes, exactly.
The third
Everybody
pillar.
talks about soft skills. There are many names. The list is behavioral skills,
Human skills.
human skills, as Simon Sinek says,
Yeah.
behavioral, emotional, and intelligent competencies, emotional capabilities. The name is
Interpersonal skills. That's right.
interpersonal, people skills. Oh my, yes, interpersonal skills, personal skills. Yes, Akash. Oh my God. Really? What are they? Simple. You studied, you have all your technical knowledge, you have to apply them, right? Otherwise, it's the bridge, it's the skills that you use to apply your technical competencies within your group. This is what the skills are. And I guess everybody has heard about them. And Rahul, I remember well 2 Sundays ago saying these are the ones that we have to be looking out, because not necessarily they are as part of the qualifications at school, right? But they are so important because that's how you're gonna apply all this. And can you list here what are somebody started, Rahul started with the leadership skills. What are these so-called soft skills? What are the list of the ones that we read all the time
that come up to your minds immediately?
In terms of soft skills? Problem solving, communication skills.
Perfect.
Time management. Yes. Empathy, also important. Public speaking.
Decision making. Thinking
Decision
out of the
making.
box.
Anything else? Design thinking.
Emotional intelligence.
Okay. Interpersonal skills, critical thinking. Oh my God. And I read all this organizational thinking. All these skills I have to have. Where do I get them? Anybody has an address I can go there and buy? What do I do? How do I acquire these things? So we have good news. We all have them. These skills are inside of us, right? Putting yourself in different situations. So they are all inside of us, right? We're not talking about personality traits, right? This is not we're talking about the corporate world, about how you interact with your peers and deliver your job. We have all these skills.
And people tended to ask us, which ones are the good ones? Which ones should be avoided, right?
Yeah. So the good thing about being inside of you, but before that, the goods and the bads, let's say, before we talk about that, these skills, we have our more natural ones. We have the ones that are our preferred ones, the ones that we use more naturally, right? We have our natural preferences, things that we are known for, right? Oh, she talks a lot. She talks very well in public. She has this characteristic and all. The other ones that may not be so developed are inside of us, right? And we're going to talk about this in a minute. So to Marcia's question, Marcia, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, people keep on asking us, which ones are the best skills, the best soft skills? Which ones should be avoided? Are they good or bad?
Yeah, the bad ones, yeah.
Yeah, even before.
Anybody? The good ones.
Which do you consider good ones or bad ones?
I would start with the good ones, and then we go.
Okay.
So good ones, please. Right on the chat, good ones.
Yeah. Oh, I
Then
like that answer. All are great. We're going to talk about this.
Equally
yes,
good. They are trained, can be trained.
Empathy. Yeah. It depends on context. Well, you answered it all. There are no
Equity.
good or bad. Depends on the context, depends on the quantity. And Márcia and I have been talking a lot lately about the dial, right? I don't know, the younger people may not know what a dial is. Because now everything is digital, you just push buttons. But you know what a dial is, from 0 to 10 for volume, etc. If you don't know, it's because you're really very young. But anyway, we always think in terms of a dial. Anything can be, depending on the context and on the quantity and on the balance, can be good or bad, right? So let's talk about patience. Somebody mentioned patience. Patience is a, you may not handling skills for how. Patience is one, right? We're going to get being patient. Let's get the dial to 0. No patience at all. Can you imagine this person?
What does it show?
No patience,
Yeah.
right? This person's not going to listen. My father. Well, yeah, 0 patience. Oh my God. This person's not going to listen to you. It's not going to be a good team player because he's not going to. This is 0 patience, right? It can be bad. Your father, right? Now, you can't handle them, right? Because it's, imagine this person in the corporate world. We talk about home, but corporate world with a team. Now, let's get the dial of patience and put to 10. The most patient person in the world. My mother. Too much is bad, right? Over sweet, over patient. Let's talk to the
Slow
corporate world
movers,
again,
that's
right? Imagine in a group, this person is leading a group to a project, and the person is patient, over patient. Until, well, opportunity has passed, no results, because the over patience may hinder the process, right? There is one who is very, very famous nowadays, a very important skill, resilience, right? Right, Karina? Being, resilience. Does everybody knows what being resilient means? Having endurance, yes. Adaptable, the person who can take it, and the metaphor of the bamboo, I remember somebody explaining it to the first time, right? There's a lot of wind that's gonna go down, but will never break. It will never break. It will come up and take it and make it happen. This is fantastic for this VUCA world, with all the challenges and all the changes and all the moving targets and all the demands. This is fantastic. Get the resilience to 10. This person can take anything. There is someone here in this room who I could appoint as being highly resilient. No matter what, is this good? This actually has already been proved to be cause of the burnout syndrome, right? This is the person who can take it all, and there is a time when you break, and that's the reason for burnout. So even the good, so all can be good, all can be bad, all can be depending on the context, as somebody gave examples, and this is the beauty of it. Now the list is huge, and I guess we are running out of time, right?
Yeah.
The list is huge in terms of soft skills, but knowing that you've got them all inside of you and that you can develop, right? I'll give an example. I'm not very analytical. So I had a hard time when I started in a position of HR, a more senior position. I had a hard time because I didn't master this skill. It was not natural to me. So knowing that, we can start um, thinking about how can I develop it. You can read, you can one, I don't know, you must have gone through this, but my tool was to get someone who had this skill, was very good at this skill, actually was the finance director, and sat with her and said, can you help me, and during the meetings or during the projects, do you think you can help me? And say, Gilma, here, you could be doing this, you could be doing that. So find someone you trust, find someone to mentor you. Of course, there are coaches and all, and these are great professions, but all this costs a lot of money as well. So I'm just trying to say here, how can we develop,
Yeah. And
by
help
ourselves?
help us with our self-awareness. That's it.
Yes, Marcia always repeats this, and I think it's the key is self-awareness.
Mm.
How do I, how can I improve, right? Because I need to improve in this specific thing, and then find ways. Um, ask
And
for, this is key. Ask for constant feedback.
yeah, and among all those
Trust.
skills that we've have all already talked about comes the liquid skill. That's the one
Right.
nowadays is really been talking about. What is it? What is it? It's the ability to upskill, reskill, and continuously sharpen existing capabilities, your existing skills, the ones you recognize and the ones you can sharpen and
Yeah.
identify how can I improve my own skills?
Yeah,
Which ones
this
do I
this
need
is
to
key,
improve?
Marcia. I think when I learned, and honestly, that was very not very long ago about these liquid skills,
Mhm.
the capability, right, of reshaping, right, and this applies to your technical skills as well, to your behavioral skills, right, so that we can be constantly reshaping, we can be constantly aware, right? This morning I got this book, and Nothing Happens for a Reason. I don't know if you read Simon Sinek's The Infinite Game. Is it Infinite? Called Infinite Game. And I remember the cover at the back. He says, we cannot choose the game, right? The world is there, the corporate world is there. Whether we cannot choose the rules. Oh, I hate this this evaluation thing from my online presence. You cannot change that. But as Masha said about uh, we are in control. It's our reputation, it's our perception, it's our skills. This is the rain I want, so that's what we can go for, right? And this liquid skills permeates everything, being able to be aware of the things you need to develop or change, or somebody said about the negative steps, whatever, the negative footprints, right?
Yeah, and the moment you
As
decided
the ability,
on,
sorry, I missed the question before.
sorry,
Who wrote, Daniel, did you?
He wrote, no, no, sorry. Abdul wrote, can I safely define liquid skills as the ability to unlearn and relearn?
Beautifully put,
yeah,
beautifully put. The awareness that maybe you have to unlearn to
and
learn
relearn and relearn.
or
Great,
relearn.
yeah,
Great, yes.
yeah.
And then there was another question, I guess. Sorry.
You know, Cindy made a comment. He says, feedback that tells us about our faults, our skills, only help us improve by having a mentor to maybe know how to do would be great. Yeah.
Well, yes, feedback is a very sensitive topic, very sensitive, because not always people who give you feedback take the necessary care when providing it, right? You're not, feedback doesn't mean sitting down a feedback session, etc., etc. Feedback can be you're walking down the corridor and someone says, why didn't you send me the report yet?
Yeah, and I'd like to add
Right?
that the investment of your life should make you happy. Follow your heart, right? You have to think about things that are good to me, that make me feel bad, make me feel better. How can I improve that?
Yeah.
So invest on your self-awareness and follow your heart, and then you have the best version of yourself.
Yeah, and in this topic about feedback, I think it's a very careful thing that we need to take it, right? We take it. We take the feedback and evaluate it. Does it, right? And improve on it, right? But someone said that feedback is crucial, and we have to be very keen to receive it, right? But you're right. Feedback is a very important thing for you to grow and improve your skills. But you have to be ready to take it, right?
We have, sorry, we have two more questions here, Gilma. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Aneruda. I don't know if that's the way you do it.
Yeah, it's Anuradha.
Aneruda. Okay, so since you're there, you can ask the question directly, Aneruda. Feel free.
Yeah, so I was thinking if you're an introverted person, so would that hinder the process of branding yourself? Because you might be a person who would post less on social media. So how would that impact it? And next thing was now that I'm currently pursuing my master's in business analytics, and let's say I want to switch my domain to finance. Uh, what would be the best way to, curate my public image either on social media or in the offline situation, so that I get such offers from the recruiters?
It was breaking a little bit, but
Yeah, the
if I
question.
understand,
It's written on the chat. Her questions are written on the chat.
I cannot
See
see.
them. Yeah.
So it says, does being introvert hinder the process of branding oneself?
That's a wonderful question. I would say nothing hinders you if you are aware. Being an introvert or an extrovert, that's a personality trait, right? And if you talk about the corporate world and you say, okay, I am quieter, or this is not going to hinder if you are, if you have the technical capabilities, if you develop, so your introversion in the corporate world, how does it affect you, right? For instance, I may get nervous and when during the interview, I'm gonna be shaking, and is that it? So think about how you can develop that. You trained before, you are aware that you're prepared for that interview. You want that job. You study as much as you can about the company, and you take a deep breath and say, listen, they're going to be interviewing me. I'm going to be interviewing them as well, right? Because it's your reign. You want to go to that company. So if the interview sucks and the guy asks questions to make you how to say, scared, that's not your reign. You know what? That's not your reign. So there are interviewers, each one has its own personality, but make sure that believe in you. I mean, your introversion is not going to affect it. It's your preparation, is your presence, is your ability to answer the questions.
There is a
And
very,
little by little, you're going to get there. I don't think it's going to get in the way at all.
yeah,
At all.
and there is a comment from Daniel Escaleira. He mentions that introvert or extrovert have their strengths and weaknesses. Neither is superior in branding. It depends on how you use them in the context. Don't let the labels define you. That's perfect
Yes,
answer.
perfect. Labels are
Perfect
very
answer.
dangerous. You are labeling yourself. You say, okay, that's my
Yeah.
personal characteristic, but this is not going to hinder my profession.
Don't stop dancing to make
There's
your
another
reign.
question. There's another question by Neruda, which says, I'm currently pursuing my master's in business analytics, and my interest is to work the field of analytics, but on the financial data. What would be a good way to curate my public image to show my interest on finance to potential recruiters?
Well, you have to state that, right? You have to state that, be it in your CV, be it in the companies you list because you want to work for, right? Companies of your interest, in your reign, right? And be aware of all the requirements that people put either on LinkedIn or in the sites for these companies. Make sure your CV shows what your interest, what your objective is, right? Is it to apply business analytics to this and this and this to contribute? So you focus your funnel. I don't know if you say that in English. You focus your search, focus the companies, and then you're gonna find it there, right? You're talking, I don't know where you're from, if you're sitting in India or if you're sitting in the US or in Brazil, but I think it applies. You know what you want. And actually this is a wonderful area, right? They are a lot of is being required in terms of analytics in HR or in finance, in all the areas. So go and find which companies you want to go and which be of your interest, adapt your CV to that position, and make sure that your LinkedIn, you know what LinkedIn does, right? You have those keywords, right? And make sure that these keywords are there so that the artificial intelligence, if they use it, I don't think they should. You know, real recruiters don't use only that. They want to read, make sure it's there. There was a question that popped up here and I think we missed it right now about recruiters.
If I can suggest, Gilma, we have two more questions because we are really running out of time. We're going to be taking these two questions. Then I'll be providing them with your emails, right? So they can directly talk to you. So Abdul has a question. Please feel free to ask it and make sure you unmute yourself, please.
How to get referrals on LinkedIn.
Abdul, the sound is very bad.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So it's been a wonderful session, and we are very profound, and I've learned a lot, especially the first pillar where she mentioned you will need to be deliberate and aware of your online presence. Yeah, I think of recent, I was discussing with a friend of mine, and he mentioned that have you tried to Google your name and see the kind of profile that comes out and all? So I did that, and yeah, with what she mentioned, I think that makes it a lot of impression. So that's one. Then also on the other skills, I think I've added that with skills that like fourth pillar. Then my question, that's like the comments on the session so far. So my question is, or if you're looking to apply for a particular job, and you've seen all the description and you feel like you can fit based on your experience and how, but there's a particular years of experience that is required, and you don't have up to that years of experience. But with what you have, you can you are sure and confident that you can deliver. So what do you do? Should you proceed to apply for the job and maybe sell yourself during the interview, or is there any other ways to apply? So, because I'm looking at the fact that recruiters always have like she mentioned, a lot of CVs, like 600 and all, and there are some key things that they look at. I don't know if years of experience is part of it, so I would like her to give advice on that. Thank you.
For me, it was cutting all the time.
Yeah, the connections was pretty bad.
From you, Abdul.
If you don't mind, Abdul, would you write us? Send us a message so that we can understand better?
Yeah,
all right.
Daniel.
No problem.
Would you do that, please? Because
Yeah, Abdul, I put their email on the chat, and I'm sure they're going to be very happy to answer.
There are both our emails, our
really
professional
improved a
emails.
lot.
Yeah.
Taking the last two questions by Arun.
But before moving on, sorry, Daniel, Abdul, I'm sorry, because the up and down, please promise that you're gonna get the email, that our personal email, and write the question so that we make sure we get back to you. Is that possible? Okay,
actually,
good.
I might jump in. I think I understood what he was saying.
Yeah.
If you're confident that you have the skills and you want to have like a job, how do you market yourself to show the recruiters that you are a good fit for that position?
Okay, so if that is the question, I think you have already answered, Abdul, your own question, because if you do have the skills, if you do have the technical skills, and if you want very much, make sure that you write a CV or an answer in LinkedIn. I don't know whether the vacancy is posted, and you, in a very concise, direct way, show the technical experience you have and how much you want to grab that position, right? I would say that determination that your CV, your resume, your LinkedIn actually shows these skills that you are talking about. And by the way, when we talk about CV, one thing I didn't mention, but sometimes people put in their CV, and we strongly advise you not to. We had very recently a very solid CV with the skills. And then there was this last part where the person described the soft skills, the behavioral competencies.
Yeah,
right?
that's good. Yeah.
I'm determined, I'm very focused, I reach all the targets, I am very resilient, and blah, blah, blah. And then I call this person, it's a friend of mine, I said, listen, can you imagine the opposite? Do you think somebody's going to listen? I'm not really very result oriented, by the way, and sometimes a little lazy. And I have a tendency to get a little impatient. I mean, nobody's going to write this in the CV, right? So take this out, because this is going to be something that's not going to add to anything, because nobody's going to write the opposite, right? Make sure that your CV, your online presence shows that. So when you write your professional summary in 2 lines or 3, right? That shows you are focused. That shows you are direct and determined, right? When your online presence, when you have like the objective, if you write an objective, well, maybe who knows if I can work in finance, but you know what? I could also do something like this and this and this. You are showing that you're not very focused, you're not very determined. So it's your online presence, your CV during your interview, which is another topic, is that shows these skills, but not in your CV, because people will actually say, well, he wouldn't say the opposite, right? So that's one thing that I
Very
had
important.
forgotten.
Yeah,
Uh,
remembering
There was
that.
a
Yeah.
question that popped up
yes.
all the time that I'm worried about. Now, give me a minute.
No, no, no.
Whoever,
That question. I want to ask that question. It's
I
about
do.
Furnica. Yes, I will.
Okay.
And so that you know, shortly we're going to have a webinar on job interviews or for internships or things of the kind. Get ready. So I don't know if I pronounced the name correctly, Kronika. If I didn't, I'm sorry. She asks, or he asks, I don't know, how to get referrals on LinkedIn, how to approach people on LinkedIn for internship and other opportunities.
Yeah. So,
And before you answer, I'd like to ask a favor and ask them to promise me. Arun and Shrey, promise me you're going to be sending Gilma and Márcia your question because
Yes,
you're really
please do.
running out of time. So I'll be taking this question as our last question for today.
have you sent us our emails?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
written.
Good.
Yeah.
So we'll be more than pleased to talk to you and keep on this relationship and make sure we can help in any way. Now, getting referrals. It has to do with networking, right? So usually what people do, and I think it works, is you're only going to ask for referrals if the person knows you, right? So asking a referral from someone totally unknown is kind of weird. So list the people who worked with you. Stop and think. One thing is getting a job is a job, right?
Sure.
This is something you have to remember. Getting a job is a job. You not wake up in the morning, well, let's see if there's anything here in LinkedIn for me. Oh my God, nothing. Now, it's your reign. You have to make the dance. The referral is stop and think. Spend a morning thinking of people you worked with in the past, people who had some connection with you. It could be a boss, it could be a peer, it can be um, whoever, it can be a teacher in a program that you worked with. And then you have some sort of relationship, some sort of trust between you two, and call them. You know, listen, I am currently looking for a position in the market and we work together, etc. If you could, or when I say call or write, right? Do you think you could give me references on LinkedIn? Usually people will say yes. They should, at least, honestly. And this applies to us who give recommendations, right? If you know the person, you don't have to know the person deep down inside, or so send me your latest psychological test just to see if I can write to you. No, we're talking about business. You worked together, right? The person could see that you were a very determined person and you worked very well in teams, etc., etc. Ask. And us on the other side, we all should be aware and ready to give. We're not going to tell lies, but we should. That's a piece of advice. I think we can be in any position at any time, right? So for instance, if Andrea nowadays holds a position as a top director somewhere, right? Some people may come to her, why not write something true, small, and give this reference? I would say, think of everybody, because maybe one day Andrea may be looking for referral, right? So list people, And don't you think that you're going to do it in 10 minutes, because you won't. It's your life. It's your past life, your colleagues, your teachers. Think, make a list and go for that and ask. There is nothing wrong in doing that. Don't be ashamed. I'm asking for a favor. No, you're asking
And
someone
remember to make your rain. Never stop until it rains.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
And be happy.
Yes.
Girls,
Okay.
I have no words to thank you for having accepted my invitation. I have no words to thank you for such an informative session. It was really like the quickest 90 minutes in my whole life. So, which means it was great. So thank you very much for that. And so that you guys know, next week, we're gonna have Karina Bell, who is here today attending our session. And she'll be talking about developing the mindset of a resilient leader. We are anxious to see that next week. For the time being, I'd like to thank you all for being here today. And I hope to see you next week, next Sunday at 7 p.m. IST, 9:30 a.m. EST. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful week. See you soon. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye. Thank you so much for your attention.
Bye-bye.
Presence.
And write your questions, please, to us.
Yes,
okay?
please,
If
never
you need.
forget.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
you.
Thank you.